We are minutes away.
Welcome in to track and field, the 37th Annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games here from the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio. And a little bit of a delay. It was supposed to start at 8 a.m., but unfortunately we had a little bit of rain. And don't forget, these wheelchair games are co-sponsored by the Paralyzed Veterans of America and the Department of Veterans Affairs, as we are at Stargell Stadium, Willard R. Stargell Stadium, here in Cincinnati, just right outside, not too far from the convention center, but doing track, the full 400 meters. Interesting setup here, as you see. It's actually, this is a field, and it says Cincinnati Public Schools. So instead of each school having their own field and track, there's a home team and a away team, but they will come here to Willard R. Stargell Stadium and play. As you're getting a good look there of the track, the participants. Again, it was raining a little bit. They tried to dry out the track, and now we're going to get started with the 100 meters. There's quite a few heats of the 100 meters, 10 heats. So right now in lane 3, we have from the Mountain States PVA track team, we have Orlinda Marquez. And in lane 4, from the Lone Star PVA, we have Carla C. Clay. In lane 5, from the Miami Adaptive Sports Team, Corey R. Peterson. And in lane 6, from Team Delaware Patriots, Crystal Young Terrell. In lane 7, from the Mountain States PVA as well, is Jatiah Taylor. Seen Jatiah a little bit. Jatiah's dog is very, very friendly. Will walk in front of mom, as you would say, but then she, as long as she hears her voice, she stays there, but she's friendly. She comes and says hi to everybody. But seen Jatiah around the convention center, and actually she played in, I've done so many, I want to say it may have been basketball. But she is in lane 7, so again, and you'll notice if you haven't checked out the Veterans Games before, any of these, their chairs, some of them are using their sports chairs. They're allowed to. But as the gun is up, but a lot of these chairs are a lot lower to the track. And the gun's off, and, well, look at that. In lane 7, Jatiah Taylor taking a lead. And Jatiah just cruising down the track in lane 7. Ooh. Oh, and now she gets caught in lane 5 by Corey Peterson. And Peterson looks like she's going to cruise to the victory, and she does. Jatiah Taylor got out of her lane a little bit, got back into it, and a great job by the rest of the contestants coming down the track. As you hear the volunteers cheering them on, you see the UPS stickers as Crystal Young Terrell in lane 6 doing a great job. And in lane 4 have Carla C. Clay, and Carla crosses right there and getting a big ovation from the crowd is Crystal Young Terrell. And finishing the first heat here, great job. Man, you saw what Corey Peterson was able to do and Jatiah Taylor did in that heat.
From the Keystone PVA, and this is the men's 100 meters. Men's 100 meters.
So he, too, as you heard there, from the awesome PA announcer, was
Johnson, lane number 3, athlete number 61.
All right, as we get set for the second heat here on the men's side. In lane 2, we have Christopher Fiddler. This will be men's. In lane 3, Miller from the Keystone PVA. And then in lane 3 from the Bronx Lasers, we have Kobe Johnson. In lane 4, from the Keystone PVA, we have William D. Leitner. In lane 5, from the Masters Lone Star PVA, we have Robbie L. Green. And in lane 6, from the Keystone PVA as well, we have Rory Cooper. And in lane 7, we have from the Keystone PVA again, David B. Gifford Jr. So when you hear me saying their teams, that's the adaptive sports teams that they're on, track teams that they're on back home. And you see the starter giving them their instructions as they are getting ready to go. And again, you'll see the difference in the chairs. A lot of adaptive sports, and here at the Veterans Games for track, some are, again, have that front wheel, the three-wheeler in front of them, and those chairs are pretty very light. So you'll see them closer to the track. Some are using their sports chairs, which they are allowed to use. But you can see the
opportunities, etc.
You can see the instructions being given, and now the officials are backing up. And set, and they're off. And it's a good start in lane 4 for William Leitner. Oh, and look at this. In lane 6, have Rory Cooper out of the U.S. Army. As you see there for Cooper, and Cooper is going to cruise to victory. And then in lane 2, we have Kobe Johnson. And then out in lane 7, finishing third, is David B. Gifford. Doing a good job there, crossing in lane 4. Oh. That was lane 4, I'm sorry, pardon me. That was Robbie Green. And then, yes, as you see, in lane 3, crossing right there is Kobe Johnson. And in lane 5, Robbie Green crosses the finish line. And the second heat comes to a conclusion there. Great job by the participants there. Again, it has been a phenomenal week so far here in Cincinnati for the 37th National Veterans Wheelchair Games. Again, we brought you a little bit of everything. Basketball, quad rugby, slalom, softball, championships yesterday, and it's just, we'll have championships tomorrow. We'll have the Super G, which is the slalom, I guess you could say the slalom on steroids. It is very, very tough, the Super G. And then the Super G, and then we'll have at 9:30, and then quad rugby at 1, and basketball at 3. But again, we'll post, check it out, wheelchairgames.org. Pretty easy, wheelchairgames.org to go there. All right, so now we are headed into Heat 3. And in Lane 2, from the Lone Star PVA, we have Samuel L. Hudson. In Lane 3, from the Buckeye PVA, is Edward F. Keating. In Lane 4, from Lovell Legends, we have Daniel A. Dorsch. In lane 5 from Wisconsin team, we have Harold A. Hack. And in lane 6 from the Buckeye PVA, William D. Fry. And rounding out the field in lane 7 from the Texas Tornadoes, we have David E. Villarreal, as they will get set to go. Get their instructions, and the starter is back.
Guns up.
And they are off and getting going. Well, that's a solid job there in lane 5 by Harold A. Hack. Oh, but now look at this. Cruising in lane 2 is Edward Keating. And Keating now with the lead in lane 3, trying to chase him down is Daniel Dortch. It's going to be between Keating and Dortch. Look at Dortch closing in. And Daniel Dortch at about the 10-meter mark passes him, and he'll take it right at the finish line. Wow, what a race there. Solid job as in lane 7 you see Villarreal crossing. So now we will head to the 4th heat of the 100 meters. And again, it's going to go by classification and time. So even though in their heat they're racing against each other, from how it was explained to me is that the 3 fastest times, they'll be actually awarded tomorrow after all the results are recorded from track here today and in. But the 3 fastest times from each classification will get their medals tomorrow. And yeah, the games wrap up tomorrow. It's crazy how fast they go. Sure, for the athletes, they feel they went even faster. But we're glad, again, you could join us here on wheelchairgames.org. And I'm Michael Karras here along with David Heil, Mike Danik, Sean Moore, making sure, the shots are coming to you. And now we are coming to you live on wheelchairgames.org. And, again, you can see the clouds overcast. We came here, thought it would burn off, but, yeah, got a little bit of rain, a little sticky. And, okay, well.
472, Michael Jorgensen from the Miami Adaptive Sports Team. Athlete 91, Anthony Evans.
So heat 5, well,
VA Coasters,
in
athlete number 705,
lane 2. In heat 4, pardon me, not 5, heat 4. In lane 2 from the New Mexico Rolling Chili Peppers. I like the name of that club, the Rolling Chili Peppers. We have Steven Espinoza. In lane 3, we have from the Fresno VAMC, we have Michael Jorgensen. In lane 4, from the Miami Adaptive Sports Team, we have Anthony Evans. In lane 5, from the NEPVA Coasters, we have Watson Conley. And in lane 6, from the Texas Tornadoes, we have Armando Gonzalez. Well, and look at these two up front. Good job there in lane 4 by Anthony Evans. But in lane 6, we see Anthony Gonzalez. Can Gonzalez take him? Oh, Gonzalez gets him at the line as Evans finishes second. And doing a good job right now there in lane 5 is Watson Conley. Again, great volunteers all week long. Over 3,300 volunteers out at these games. I mean, UPS being, well, you can see that. There's some UPS trailers across the track from up here in the press box that we see. But, again, they have a lot of volunteers, but overall 3,300 volunteers at these games. As getting to the last 10 meters is Watson Conley as he's getting to the finish line, getting cheered on, and Conley crosses. Great job there by Watson Conley. So So Conley finishes up. And now Heat 5 in lane 3 from the Puerto Rico PVA. We have Jose Ortiz Pizarro. In lane 4 from the Keystone PVA, we have William W. Wheaton. In lane 5 from the NEPVA Coasters, Michael W. Savicki. In lane 6 from the Houston Blasters, we have Thomas T. Sagpow. So in the 5th heat here. And they got their, well, I think their starters waiting to get confirmation that clock is set to go. Still looking across the track, but the runners are set. Again, and if you've missed anything, you can go to wheelchairgames.org. Like I said, the live streams that we've had of basketball and quad rugby, slalom, softball. Again, like I say, if you missed it, shame on you, but we got you covered. You can go to wheelchairgames.org, check out the games that we've done, and go from there. That being said, well, and the heat is off to a good start. Look at that in lane 6. The Houston Blasters competitor Thomas Sagpow, the nice lead, but look at that right inside him in lane 5. Here comes Michael Savicki, and Savicki, just passes him and takes the lead as Michael Savicki will cross in first place, and right behind him will be Thomas Sagpow. And then, in lanes 2 and 3, look at this. We have Jose Ortiz Pizarro and Will W. Wheaton, and wow, the photo finish. Gotta say, it looked like Ortiz Pizarro may have gotten it in lane 2, but again, tough to see. So now in heat 6, lane 3 from the Kentucky Indiana team, we have Steve Miller and another Kentucky Indiana competitor. In lane 4 is Marcus D. Murray, and in lane 5 from the Buckeye PVA, Joshua D. Maley. So this is here in heat 6. And again, the starter just giving them their instructions. But yeah, started to say that. But yeah, wheelchairgames.org is where you can go. You can check out if you missed any of the. If you haven't seen quad rugby, please do watch it before the championship tomorrow. Check some of it out. It is just absolutely amazing. Same thing with basketball. I mean, basketball, we've seen the slalom is unbelievable. The Super G tomorrow will be as amazing. So definitely check it out, wheelchairgames.org. Again, we'll have Super G at 9:30, quad rugby at 1, and then basketball at 3-ish. I mean, things might get a little bit delayed, but we'll see what happens. And, well, they're still waiting for them to start. The 37th Annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games, brought to you in part by GE General Electric. They have been a great sponsor. We had and Xerox bringing us track as well. And it's so great when each individual event has a sponsor. That's what keeps these games going. UPS, again, they sponsored the slalom And as you see, we're at Stargell Stadium here in Cincinnati, Ohio. They sponsored the slalom, did UPS, but a major sponsor. They've been on board since, I'm going to look it up. I'm pretty sure it was 1988. That UPS. Yeah, so it would be.
Appears to be perfect conditions.
Yeah, see, the weather passed. It rained a little bit. It'll be a little sticky this afternoon probably, but it won't be 110. So Dave Heil and I are pretty much, if you could see us, which you can't, thank goodness, we were jumping up and down, kind of spitting out nickels doing cartwheels. But, you know, that's just one of those things. Yeah, UPS has been sponsoring this event since 1988. So I think they got going in 1984. So basically 4 games that they weren't the major sponsor for. But again, you see all their volunteers out. And again, can't thank companies like GE and Xerox, along with UPS, P&G, Paramobile. Just unbelievable. But as these 3 get set to go, again, we have Steve Miller in lane 3 and Marcus D. Murray in lane 4. Both of those competitors from the Kentucky, Indiana team. And from the Buckeye PVA is Joshua D. Maley, and he is in lane 5, as it looks like I'm still on the track. And, I forgot to do it in the beginning. Definitely want to give a big shout out because, again, the weather delay it pushed us back a little bit. But John Register, he's a Paralympic silver medalist, 4-time college All-American, Army vet as well. He was actually out here to help do some commentary with me. But unfortunately, since we had the delay, he had to get going. He's got a previous engagement. But you will get to meet Mr. John Register as our own Tim Pogo will be interviewing him, talking to him later. So that'll be very awesome. He's got a great story. I'm not going to spoil any of it. I'm just going to say I want to give him a big thanks for coming out and trying to wait out the rain. And, well, he did. But unfortunately, when they started, he had to get going with his prior engagement. So thank John for coming out. And now the gun is up for this heat. And they are off. Okay, well, there's 4 people in this heat, and there was only 3 listed. So, but in lane 2, he is cruising. Well, I want to say that's Steve Miller, but again, I don't. Oh, nice job there in lane 5 by
you have completed your
Joshua Maley.
Ready to be transported back.
Fortunately, my apologies on that heat because they only had 3 listed in heat 6.
In the lot. Athletes, if you are finished for the day and like to be transported back to your prospective places or venues, the buses are available for you in the lot. Okay.
So in lane 7, or in heat 7 now. In lane 2, we have from the Team Tampa WWP, we have Jerry W. Paget II. In lane 3, from the Baltimore VAMC, we have Ryan Major. Major, a quad rugby player. In lane 4, from the Houston Blasters, Silvano Rivera Jr. And in lane 6, we have from the, well, he's independent, but we do have Dennis R. Hooper in lane 6. As they're, well, the white flag's up, meaning that they're all ready to go.
Guns up. And we're off.
And there they go. And it's a nice quick start in lane 6 for Dennis R. Hooper. As Hooper now building up, as you see him trying to balance the chair, not get out of his lane, but what a solid job there. As Hooper crosses the finish line.
Also joining this state for the seniors is Leeds at 33 to the state.
And in lane 2, crossing there was Jerry Padgett II. And in lane 6, there's Dennis Hooper. As he's wrapping up.
Mid-Atlantic team, Jesse C. Lynn, number 7. Creator Los Angeles. And Antoine Hargraves, Southeastern PVA, Cedric Jeter, athlete number 420. Here we go. 3. Race instructions. Have prepared. We're trying to update the names and numbers of the racers as they were back here for you. Guns up.
All right, fans, sorry about that. Just trying to get some information. Because of the weather delay, some athletes may have had other competitions that they're in, and they may have chosen to leave. But so this being Heat 8, again, there's supposed to be 3 runners in this. And it was supposed to be from the Mid-Atlantic team, Jesse Lind, from the Greater Los Angeles team, Antoine Gray, and from Southeastern PVA, Cedric Getter. But it looks like we have the winner in lane 5. And Cedric R. Getter looks like, Getter, pardon me, looks like he crossed first there. But again, I apologize, trying to get the numbers of the athletes. You see on the back there. Oh, like in lane 8, that's 492. He was supposed to be in heat 10. That is Walter Rogers that crossed in a photo finish there. With also William G. Searless, who was supposed to be in heat 10. And oh, look at this, coming up in lane 2 as the volunteers are encouraging him to keep going. That is in from 716 Team West Virginia. And again, I've seen the West Virginia men's basketball team wearing the camo like that, which is just absolutely awesome. I love that camo from Team West Virginia. You see there, Robert Stone. So he is in lane 2. And we got, well, a few more competitors. Trying to cheer, actually they're just trying to cheer him on, keep him going. And Robert Stone, look at him working hard. What a great job there from Team West Virginia, Robert H. Stone, as he's in his final 10 meters, as he's looking to cross the finish line. As you're cheering him on, big cheers for Robert Stone. As he gets there in lane 2 and he crosses. And that is it. Great job by Robert Stone finishing the 100 meters. Nice hard work there. And so like I said, you can see the difference. That is a sports chair. You'll see those for basketball, for quad rugby as well, although you won't really see spokes in quad rugby. They're covered up. But
it looks like our next
that
race
being
of
said,
10 is the women's 800 meters.
All right, so we went through the 100 meters. And again, I do apologize for other contestants. Again, they had the heat set up, but if certain people left, they may have added 1 or 2 more. Like in that heat, we had Stone, Searless, and Rogers added to that heat, which wasn't the 10th heat. But now we have the women's 800 meters coming up.
From the Mountain States PVA.
So in lane 1, and 800 meters, for those who are not familiar, 2 times around the track. Track is 400 meters. In lane 1 from the Buckeye PVA, we will have Holly Coaster, pardon me.
From Miami Adaptive Sports Team.
And in lane 2 from the Mountain States PVA, Orlinda Marquez. And in lane 3 from the Miami Adaptive Sports Team, Corey Peterson. Saw Peterson running in the 100. Look at that. So she got her nice warm-up, stretch out in with the 100. And now she will be running the 800 meters.
Race instruction. That brings you better to the participant.
Well, you see him set there, getting the instructions. Again, 800 meters, like I said, 2 times around the track. And as any race starts, always with the stagger. So, yes, they're all running 800 meters. Yes, we're checking to make sure everybody's set, scooting everybody back there. Again, we are coming to you from the William R. Stargell Stadium here in Cincinnati, Ohio. 37th Annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games. Again, so glad we could be a part of this, be bringing this to you. And these are championship events, but like I said, they'll be awarded tomorrow. The results will be in. Like I said, you'll be able to go to wheelchairgames.org and check it out. And just kind of waiting on the track, making sure everybody is set. The starters holding them up. I guess they want to make sure that something's right. Okay, so I just heard that there is actually no 800.
This is heat 1 of the 400.
Yeah, so the 400 meters, heat 1.
400 meter race.
Well, but from the mountain. Oh, wait, I want to say it's the same 3. It is the same 3. How cool is that? So heat 1 of the 400, again from the Mountain States PVA, is Orlinda Marquez. In lane 3, Marquez in lane 2. In lane 3 from the Buckeye PVA, Holly S. Coaster. And in lane 4 from the Miami Adaptive Sports Team, that is Corey Peterson.
Legs up, and we're off.
And, well, the gun went off. And so the 400, obviously, instead of the 800, just one time around the track. And out in lane 4, getting off to a good start, is Corey Peterson, as we see her there. And right behind her in lane 3 is Holly Coaster, pardon me. Look at Peterson. Cruises through the first 100 meters. And she has a comfortable lead. As coming through the first turn right now is Orlinda Marquez. But now Peterson's starting to get chased down by a coaster. We see Peterson hit the halfway point right about there, the 200-meter mark, as now she goes into the final turn. And then she'll have the last straightaway. Man, look at this pace by Peterson. As Peterson again, well, coaster's closing in on her. Again, so tough, as we've talked about. I mean, in the slalom yesterday, Jen Jordan, the trainer from the VA, or a therapist, pardon me, from the VA in Tampa, kind enough to join me in just talking about it, and just the strength they have to have, and I mean the endurance. I mean, you run, and no use of your legs, and you're doing all this with your arms. And look at this by Corey Peterson. She's going to go from wire to wire as Holly Coaster trying to run her down. But it's going to be Peterson cruising through in lane 4, Coaster in lane 3. And Marquez now getting into the final turn.
Still making that gallant effort.
Great job there by Marquez. Look at her working hard, going through that turn.
In the back stretch of the 400-meter dash.
Now she's in lane 2, and they're starting to cheer on the front stretch for her. Again, you can just see the the fatigue in the face. And like I said, it's one of those things where when you're able to use your legs, I mean, even with the Paralympics being different, and if John Register was here, he could speak on that, as he is a silver medalist in the long jump. But again, no use of your legs. You're going around this track, all arms. Great job here by Marquez as she's in her final stretch right here, approaching her last 50 meters. Again, starting to, digging deep. And again, you see that lean forward. Again, that's why I'm saying, that's why these chairs, these specialized chairs are lower. And they have to still keep the balance and get control, but with pretty much a lot of times not having use of their core, like we talked about yesterday, it's so much tougher. And look at that. Marquez crosses the finish line and
All right, there we go.
Finishes the 400. Great job by Orlinda Marquez. But, man, Corey Peterson as well, just that pace that she had going wire to wire, leading the race, and she just holds off Holly Coaster, pardon me. But now we are set for, well, we'll have what looks like the second heat of the 400. And I have 6 participants listed, but unfortunately I only see 4. So, well, in lane 2, it looks like that is 116. From the Keystone PVA, we have David Gifford Jr. In lane 3, oh no, sorry, David Gifford Jr.'s in lane 1. In lane 2, from the Buckeye PVA, I have William Fry. No participant in lane 3 or lane 4. In lane 5, then, it would look to be from the Buckeye PVA, Edward Keating. And in lane 6, we have in lane 6, pardon me, from the Keystone PVA, Christopher Fiddler. So again, David B. Gifford in 2, William in 1, William Fry in 2, lanes 3 and 4 empty, Edward Keating in lane 5, and Christopher Fiddler in lane 6. But they're all getting their pre-race instructions, and on lane 5. All right, so my apologies. That actually is Rory Cooper that's in lane 5, and then we do see Christopher Fiddler inside of him. As they're getting their final instructions. And Edward Keating is on the outside. So we have Keating on the outside, and then Fiddler, then Cooper. So yeah, Keating would be in 6, Fiddler would be in 5, Cooper in 4, and then Fry in 2, and Gifford in 1. Again, my apologies, because some athletes with the delay may have had to leave with other events. We do have weightlifting coming up later tonight. You'll be able to see it stream-wise. You'll be able to watch. And I definitely suggest checking that out. Weightlifting will be absolutely awesome. And so now everybody's getting set up. Final instructions. And it looks like the starter's moving down the track. And now he's
Guns up.
and he's getting set, and the gun is off, and there go the competitors trying to build momentum. A quick start in lane 1 for David Guilford Jr. as he goes by William Fry, but then you see, it looks like Rory Cooper. Oh yeah, Cooper, an Army vet. Look at that, goes through the first turn, a little bit of a lead. And then Keating right outside him, Edward Keating from the Buckeye PVA. But now Cooper well, starts to extend his lead, but not a bad job there by Chris Fiddler. Going down the back stretch, but Rory Cooper now as you go into the backside turn, the last turn. As Cooper trying to hold Keating off. Again, trying to conserve a little bit, but look at the arms. It's constantly going. Again, a little breather right there with his lead as he enters the final 75 meters. And look at this, Rory Cooper, the Army vet again. You see him leaning forward, but giving his arms a little bit of a rest. Well, not so much rest, pardon me, keeping his chair straight. And look at that, Rory Cooper in lane 4 is going to win it. And then in second place, right behind him, is Chris Fiddler. Oh, and look at this, coming down the stretch now in lane 1. David Gifford has overtaken Ed Keating. No, I'm sorry, check that. That's Fiddler. Keating finished second. It switched lanes too. So Cooper finished first, Keating finished second. And finishing third. Solid job there by David Gifford Jr. As Fiddler crosses, and here comes William Fry. Great job by Fry. Again, just think of 400 meters. Regular track athletes, you've all watched the Olympics. I mean, you see the form, the arms, and the legs, and they're doing this 400 meters all with arms, and it is just an unbelievable sight to see. And yeah, I said Cooper was giving his arms a break. He was just making sure the chair stayed straight again. But these custom chairs are a little bit lower to the ground, and again, they are literally. It's almost like they're in a bobsled. If you think about, getting in. I know if you look how their body's positioned. They're leaning forward, but it's just you have to be leaning that whole time of not having again use of their core. Not every single one out here. Competitor out here right now, but a lot don't have use of their core, and that's just very, very tough. So, again, I look at it as it just being so tough. And again, if you, two competitors on the as they're coming down the backstretch, but and my apologies again. Oh, I think they're just coming up to the start line. My apologies. Getting a little warm up in before the 100 meter. I don't know how much warm up they want to use it. And you saw again, they're just, like I said, coasting up to the line. But now,
Time's up. And we're off. We're off and rolling. It's very competitive race outside. Competitive, demonstrate their strategy, their will, their endurance, their determination. As we approach that back stretch, we basically have a neck roll going here all the way down. Yes, we have the potential for a very close finish. Here we go. Here in the back stretch. Athlete stretching, pulling, crushing. Give it their all as we go in the back stretch. Great finish. And coming down here. Finishing up strong. Okay, strong push down, a strong finishing kick at the end here. Strong finishing kick at the end. Athlete number 420, Cedric Jenner. Making a strong finish here at the end of this 400-meter race. Good job, Mr. Jenner. John Kelder, athlete number 59. Straight. Top straight. 120. Staggered start is required for this kind of race. participants are set. Guns up. And we're off and rolling. Just a little pick up on that backside there. But we're up and giving. And we are in. Our first participant hitting the back stretch. And coming down the other stretch. Two more participants. Heading to the home stretch. That's kind of strange, person. We followed vigorously. Battling repair. Let's see. But getting it done. Getting it done nonetheless. A courageous finisher. 5-10 minutes. And done.
as we are back here at the Willard R. Stargell Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the 37th Annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games brought to you by the Paralyzed Veterans of America and the Department of Veterans Affairs. So we did find out in that break that we are going to the biathlon, which in the biathlon they will go, well, looks like they're starting. So they'll go a good 250 meters where the orange cones are. They'll have to come up to that line. You'll see the two blue tents. Yeah, you'll see the two blue tents down there at the end of the stadium. So with the orange cones, they will come up. Now, on that table, which is tough to see under the blue tents, but behind the goalpost on that table are two long, like white boxes that are targets, but it's a laser gun. So they're going to have to aim it and hit 5 targets. And aim to hit 5 targets, and that being said, then they will have to finish the race. As we see the tents down there. And as we see the competitors there with the reflection of the sun. But I'm going to go with it's the first two from the Buckeye PVA. In lane 1, we'll have Orlinda Marquez in lane 1 from the Mountain States PVA, Orlinda M. Marquez. And in lane 2 from the Masters Buckeye PVA, and this is 800 meters. So it is 2 laps around the track. Again, the biathlon with having to hit the targets. And again, if you have not watched, we are so glad you're joining us here on wheelchairgames.org for the 37th Annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games. With these custom, well, you could say speed wheelchairs that they have for track, they're sitting a little lower, they're leaning forward. As you saw the difficulty that they have to go through in the 400 with having to, again, trying to lean into the turn, keep their chair in the lane, and they have what almost looks like 2-hand joysticks to control the chair if it starts going a little wide or too far inside. So again, they're trying to get their speed up, keep going, and go from there. So this again, just so awesome to be a part of. And the one thing I've loved the most in getting to know a lot, talking to some of these athletes, talking to the volunteers, talking to people that know what they're going through. And it's just it's not, I don't know, maybe the poor me attitude. And from what I've heard from so many of these veterans is that after they come to their first games, they can't wait to get back. I mean, a lot of these competitors have club teams at home, have league teams at home, club or league teams. You have guys that are trying to qualify for the Olympics as well. And it's one of those things where when you look at it, that it's one of those things where they're trying to qualify for the Olympics. And if they do, I know this proud sponsor of the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, GE, who is co-sponsoring track here today at the Willard R. Stargell Stadium. GE, again, such a proud partner. And again, in the Olympics, you've seen GE as well as Xerox. I know donating to, obviously sponsoring these games and donating time and volunteers. And it's just great to have Xerox and GE part of it sponsoring track. And again, I know with USA Athletics, they are 2 sponsors. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of athletes here that are actually trying to qualify for national teams. So, again, on the Olympic squads, and there's quite a few that I've talked to. I know we've had Sean Castle on air, and he is going to play. He's going to finish graduating from Alabama. He's actually going to go play basketball in France, and if you'll see him. Unfortunately, his team didn't make it to the championship, so he'll be sitting in with me. It's great to have him in. I know he'd rather be playing in that gold medal game when I talked to him yesterday. And he'll talk more about the details of that tomorrow. We've touched on it. I mean, it's been absolutely awesome. And it's one of those things where when you look at it, the opportunities for adaptive sports, and it's getting more and more, and he touched on it, but we're definitely going to touch on it more because for these athletes, it's one of those things where when you look at it, it's just awesome how they are able to do it and the opportunities that's afforded to them. So again, it's absolutely awesome to be here at these games. It has been so eye-opening for me and, well, a lot of our crew, that is their first time. For Dave, who is, for not to be, no pun intended, but a vet of these games, he's seen it, and I just am so, like I said, it's so awesome to be a part of this. A part of this event. I don't know, the whole week. I mean, it's a grand event. Sorry, I was trying to think of such a great adjective, but it is. It's an event. And again, I mean, just to be around the vets, the PVA, and it's been eye-opening. I mean, you always hear stuff. You want to learn new things every day. And look at this. We are off. And again, in lane 1, we do have Orlinda M. Marquez. And in lane 2, we have Holly Coaster. In lane 2, again, that's Orlinda. Looks like Orlinda Marquez. As again, see how she has to grab the front, the extension to the chair, and just make sure it's going straight. As she goes into that turn, as on the backstretch there, getting into it, is Holly Coaster. And now you saw Orlinda pull in under the tent, and now she's, as we see right there, she's got to aim. Oh, look at that shot right there. She's got to aim, and their judges are right there. And it's a laser gun, again, so she's got to aim at the target. There's 5 targets on the front side, and again with the laser, if she hits it, it'll light up. Pardon me, because that's what it does. It'll light up. As now we see as Marquez is getting into the turn, or Coaster, pardon me, Coaster. As she's into the turn right there, getting close. So we'll see if Marquez can get out of there. Again, there's 5 targets, so you have to hit all 5 targets. So once you move on to 1, you go to the next, and now here comes Coaster. She was able to catch up. And again, Holly Coaster, part of the Buckeye PVA, and for Marquez, part of the Mountain States PVA. And now they're both, again, under the tent, having to hit the 5 targets. So tough to do. Again, I mean, it is a laser gun. You got to line it up and hit the shot. So that being said, oh, and look at this. She got all 5 as Marquez now is heading out. Oh, no. Actually, I'm sorry. That's Holly. It was Holly Coatster that was there first. She is in lane 2. My apologies. I had their lane switch, so that is my fault. So that's Holly Coatster right there. That's coming down the back stretch they're coming down the home stretch, I should say. As Marquez is still firing, trying to hit the targets. Again, not easy to do. And she starts her second lap, the bell lap, as Holly and goes into that first turn. And we'll see if Marquez still aiming at all 5. So look at that. Holly just cruising now. Well, shouldn't say just cruising. You see her working hard down the backstretch. And for Marquez, again, still trying to fire through that first round of hitting the 5 targets. She's got it. Looks like she has it lined up pretty good. Again, the boxes you see on those tables, there's 5 targets. And with the laser, they will light up when you hit them. But look at this. Coaster again coming through. And she's going to be on her second round of shooting. Can Marquez get out of there? And now, And now Marquez is. She hit the target. She's trying to get out of there for some reason. Oh, there she goes. So now Coaster on her second lap is trying to hit the 5 targets quick. She's got a big lead, but again, it can take a while to hit those targets. So we'll see what Orlinda Marquez can do. Now she's getting going in the turn there and trying to build up some speed to complete her first of 2 laps. Again, you see how tough it is to go through the turn. I mean, you can still balance it with your bike, and you see her shifting a little bit to get into the turn. Again, just such, again, you talk about balance and strength and, I mean, your upper body, and I know a lot of these athletes talking about, Ryan Lynch, I'm talking about how your shoulders can just start burning and when you get into whatever event you're doing, but I mean, something like track where you're constantly trying to go, especially on the straightaways, as we see Marquez coming up the home stretch right now, and Holly Coatster underneath the tent trying to hit all 5 targets. Again, you got to light them up. So we'll see. Oh, and she did. Wow, Coatster back on the track as now Marquez. What a great shot by our boy Joe. He's got the drone there following Marquez. But Coatster now, look at this, coming up. So as Marquez now going across the finish line, he's got 1 more lap to go. Great job, but Holly Coatster again, the second time around with the laser rifle, just a little bit easier. And look at this. Holly is just going to cruise now past the finish line, and she is done. Great job by Holly Coatster there to finish first. But it looks like the second time shooting was a little bit quicker. The first time it took her a while as Marquez was able to get in there. And it took Marquez a little bit to get out the first time. But look at Marquez just rolling on right now as she is just exiting the first turn. As you see the sun breaking through. And so Marquez now going down the backstretch. And a lot of the volunteers they've handed out. We heard it at slalom yesterday. That was awesome. Handing out the, you'd say like, not New Year's noisemakers was like that, but we had cowbell. And like a wise man once said, you can never have enough cowbell. We need more cowbell. As they're cheering on Marquez as she and is headed down that back stretch, has 5 more targets to hit. What a great job. Look at her, does not stop moving the arms. And again, with no use of your legs, it becomes, you're sitting that way, and you have to be in great shape. Your back can start to get sore, like I said, if again, you don't want your back sore. And John Register, again, giving him a shout out. He was kind enough to try and come out here. He's going to jump on board, a Paralympian silver medalist and speaker as well. He was just talking about some of the difficulties. I mean, as a Paralympian, unfortunately, he was a 4-time All-American at Arkansas, went in the Army, and actually was qualified as an Army elite athlete, as we see Marquez pull into the firing range now. And again, let's see if the second time around is a little bit quicker, because for Holly Coatster, she was able to get it done and a little bit quicker the second time. So she's picking it up, she's aiming, and again, it is laser, so she's got to hit the target and it'll light up. So once she gets all 5, she can get out of there. But yeah, John Register was a 4-time All-American at Arkansas, a hurdler, and he had a horrific leg accident. And of course, he shows me the pictures, and from someone that broke their leg when they were young, I never, again, doesn't compare to what he's going through. I'm not saying that, but I cannot look at leg injuries till this day. It just, anyone's leg injury, it was tough. But he showed me the pictures, and he's actually coaching track in Colorado. He's in Colorado now, and he's been coaching high school track for quite a while. And again, just giving back, and he did have the option of, he could be in a wheelchair, or he could have because the artery behind in his knee, because again, if I describe it, I'll probably feel nauseous, but from seeing the pictures, but the artery in his knee was starting to get blocked, so it was a huge loss of blood flow. So again, they had to amputate, but he's got a prosthetic with where it bends at the knee. Oh, and look at that, Marquez getting through a little bit faster this time. Again, the second time around for these shooters has gone a little bit smoother. So now look at that, Orlinda Marquez starting to get her momentum going again. And just trying to adjust, and she doesn't look like she has the bars that, I'm going to say handlebars, but just maybe the guys that some have had on their extensions. So she's kind of doing a little shimmy, as you see right there, with her upper body. And Marquez now coming up the front stretch, as you see her. Less than 100 meters to go. What a great job. Again, the 800-meter biathlon. Whew. Not easy. As they're starting, you can hear them cheering Marquez on as she's coming down lane 1. And again, has not stopped the arms. I mean, she's done that little shimmy, but has not stopped the arms. Look at that final 20 meters for Marquez. What a great job. Again, not an easy event, but the second time through. And she crosses the finish line. Great job by Orlinda Marquez as she crosses the finish line. And that will take us to our next 2 competitors in lane 1, heat 2. From the Mountain States PVA is Jatiah Taylor. We saw what she did in the 100 meters, so this will be very interesting again, 800 meters, a little bit different of a pace. And having to stop to hit the targets makes it a little bit tougher. That's Jatiah Taylor, like I said, from the Mountain States PVA in lane 1 and in lane 2. In heat 2 from the Miami Adaptive Sports Team is Corey Peterson. And, man, we saw what Peterson did in the 400. Man, so this, again, 800 meters, a little different mindset, no matter when you're doing it. But that being said, so Peterson again in lane 2, just outside of Jatiah Moore. And the gun is up, and they are both off. And just to get going, to start building up that speed is tough. But Peterson and Moore, see going into that first turn, Moore, or Taylor, pardon me, Jatiah Taylor. And Taylor in lane 1, as you see Peterson in lane 2. A little bit of the lead as Jatiah Taylor and staying as Peterson hits the 300-meter mark first, and then Moore goes, or Taylor, pardon me, goes past it. But again, if your strategy is you don't want to get, probably don't want to get too far behind, and you can make the time up in the sharpshooting, as I would call it, because we're taking the rifles that can have the laser, and you have to hit 5 targets. So as Peterson is into the turn, getting close to the tent, and Peterson gets there, and now Taylor getting just a teeny bit behind her. So they're both going to start, well, firing at about the same time. See Peterson, she grabs the rifle, and now she's aiming. Taylor, well, now picks it up. And they're both, well, taking aim. We'll see who gets out of there first. As you see the volunteers again, trying to see if they hit it again. You have to hit all 5 targets on the laser, since, again, it is a laser gun. It will light up when you hit it. So Peterson and Taylor going head to head. Both still under the 10. Again, here you go. Might not be the furthest distance, but again, you need to be completely accurate. And, oh. Both pretty much hitting the 5 at the same time. You see Peterson, a little bit of an advantage getting out. Jatiah Taylor now, but right behind her, man. This looks like it'll come down to the very end. Look at that, Peterson just rolling here down the home stretch, but Jatiah Taylor again keeping her in her sights. Peterson starting her second lap. Taylor coming to the end of her first, and as she goes past the start-finish line, she'll start her second. And again, both teams have, or both competitors in the first heat, Marquez and Coaster, were able to hit the targets a little faster their second time. But look at this, man. Peterson just gaining more and more, not stopping, keeping the arms going as she heads down the backstretch. And for Jatiah Taylor, she is now just entering the backstretch. But again, we'll see if she can make it up on the shooting part. You see Peterson right there, just in command. Has a good rhythm going. And Taylor again, halfway through the backstretch. So again, Peterson will have a little bit of an advantage getting in there, but Jatiah Taylor closing down. And again, that's even the tough part about this, because you can imagine in any sport when you start to get fatigued and tired, again, you need to focus, you need to have that concentration. And that's why I was a little surprised the last time that the second time around the track, they were able to hit the targets a little bit quicker for both athletes. So Peterson already in. Taylor gets there. Peterson hasn't. Oh, yeah, she has the rifle picked up. Now Taylor comes over and trying to get settled. And oh, now she is. So she picks the rifle up. As you see, great shot there. As you see, they're both. Yeah, aiming. Yeah, you have to hit the 5 targets. I mean, you don't have to go down the line. You just got to hit 5. So, again, maybe you start with what the hardest one might be for you. If that takes 2 or 3 shots, going to the easiest one might be better. But either way, all 5 lights, like I said previously, have to be hit. And with the laser gun, they will light up when that happens. And Corey Peterson. Oh, and look at that, Taylor. Oh, well, Peterson got the 5th too, but oh, this is going to be an instant classic right here, as Peterson again, when she's gotten up to speed, has been able to just look dominant, but Taylor gets out first. We'll see if Peterson can catch her, and look at Peterson, but how much energy will she have to exalt to catch up to Jatiah Taylor as they come down the front stretch now, and Taylor has the lead, but Corey Peterson is coming up on the outside as Taylor hits the 75-meter mark first. And look at that, Jatiah Taylor trying to dig deep. Corey Peterson coming right after her. 50 meters left to go in this race. Taylor with a little bit of an edge. Can Peterson close the gap down? And it looks like Taylor will have just enough to hold on. What a battle between these two phenomenal women. Wow. Jatiah Taylor just got out 2 or 3 seconds before Corey Peterson firing the rifles. So Taylor finishes first there, and man, well, that might be tough for the rest of these races to live up to. But we'll have the 3rd heat coming up here from Willard R. Stargell Stadium, the 37th annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games, co-sponsored in part by the Paralyzed Veterans of America and the Department of Veteran Affairs. back here in the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio, as we are getting set to start in the third heat of the biathlon. In lane 2, well, in lane 1, my apologies, his athlete number, as you can see there, is 201, and I do not have that listed. But in lane 2, we see number 514, and that is David Cunningham of the Mid-South PVA Club. And I will effort to see who. Dave, you said 281 or 201? Looks like 201. Oh, you know what? Who 201 is? That's Samuel L. Hudson. Have him from earlier, so thank you. So, again, my apologies. So, Samuel L. Hudson is in lane 1. And Hudson is actually from the Lone Star PVA. Lone Star PVA for Hudson. As they, well, no, they're both into the tent, although you saw Cunningham get there first. And Samuel L. Hudson. I know a lot of you listeners out there, probably Dave included, thought I was going to say Samuel L. Jackson, but it is Samuel L. Hudson, not to be mistaken with Samuel L. Jackson. Oh, and on the live chat, we have Danny Seaton. What's up, Danny? Yes, this is amazing. Again, and Dave Heil, who's sitting right next to me here, I wasn't really complaining. I was just running the other day, but I didn't stop because I think like a pebble had gotten in my shoe, and now I have a blister, and it does not feel good because I didn't stop running. I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm fine. Look at this. This is unbelievable by Cunningham. All 5 shots fired. Now Samuel L. Hudson gets out of the tent, but look at this lead by Cunningham, about 125 meters. One more lap to go. Danny, I'm glad you're enjoying this because I don't even think I have to try and sell people. If you come out to one of these, if it ever comes to your city or if you have a chance to travel to one, just go. It's free to come out and watch. You go to any of the events. I mean, the quad rugby, like I said, has been amazing. The basketball, the power soccer. We saw some awesome softball yesterday. This track is unbelievable. And now we see Samuel L. Hudson crossing the finish line. Well, maybe he's closed a little bit of a gap, maybe close about 10, 15 meters there. But we'll see if Hudson can keep it going. But man, both of these biathlons, great shooters. They got in and out pretty quick. And now look at this as Cunningham goes into the turn on the backstretch, approaching the tent. Maybe conserve a little energy there as he's again, you see him guiding the chair in, and that's the tough part too, as he gets it turned, and he will come into the tent, and now he'll have to hit the 5 targets as Hudson, again, coming down the backstretch, and Hudson, again, we'll see. They both, again, fired very, very quickly last time, so we'll see if Hudson can keep it going. Look at that, in and out for Cunningham. Wow, well, for Hudson, he's going to have to get in there and make a very quick work of this, but I think Cunningham will be able to hold on. And as Cunningham comes around the turn, And look at this, Cunningham coming down the home stretch, and he is getting stronger and stronger. A little shimmy there to keep it in lane 2, but look at him just going. Wow, what a job here by David Cunningham as he crosses the line, and great job there. And now we see Samuel L. Hudson hit the 5 shots again, not in a very short amount of time. But again, now he's making his way to the front stretch. And with just now 100 meters to go, what a heck of a battle between these two gentlemen. As you see Samuel L. Hudson coasting. I shouldn't say coasting, but pushing to the finish line. Getting cheered on from other competitors and a lot of the volunteers that are out here, and he finishes the race. Man, but both of those gentlemen shooting, well, I'm guessing they probably were were definitely very good riflemen in the military, because they made no time of the targets with the laser there as we finish the 3rd heat and now the 4th heat that will be coming up. Let's see if we can find the numbers on these gentlemen. So we have 259, which is Michael Savicki, and unfortunately, the gentleman in lane 1, well, unfortunately for me, not for him, but he's got his number in front. I saw that before. So we have Michael Savicki, and if it is the gentleman that was partnered up with Michael Savicki, we'll have to check and see as he goes around the track. If it's number 31, that would be, as they get started, that would be from the Keystone PVA, Jerry L. Baylor. Savicki is with the NEPVA Coasters. So, again, we'll just have to see as he comes up the front stretch. They get started, and, well, Savicki trying to, again, both of them trying to build up that momentum. And as Savicki gets through the first turn now, you see him on the backstretch and starting to make up a little bit of ground is, again, that we'll check to make sure, but that's Jerry Baylor. So Savicki, now he'll head into the turn on the back stretch, and then, well, he will get into the tent first, but again, Baylor is coming down the back stretch. Again, you see him trying to cuss a little bit, but here comes Savicki as he turns in. Got to again, stay in your lane, making it a little bit harder. Now we'll see how he handles the rifle. Well, here comes Baylor again. Now he's into that back stretch, so we'll see how fast, as the gun is up for Savicki, see how fast he can hit the 5 targets. And again, we're so glad you're joining us here on wheelchairgames.org. Again, wheelchairgames.org. If you missed any of the action that we streamed, well, you're not in trouble or timeout, but shame on you, says David Heil. And we will, but it is up. You can go back and watch it. As now, look at this. Here comes Baylor in to the under the canopy. And again, now he'll just have to make his way up to the table. And again, Savicki, well, again, like I said, the first time through, but man, those two, but David Cunningham and Samuel L. Hudson, they wasted no time both times around. I mean, both of them even got a little quicker the second time. And look at that. Headed out is Savicki. Michael Savicki, again, hits the targets as we see him starting in the middle of the turn. And he's got to get that momentum going again. And you see there a little interesting setup. He's got a cushion and leaning forward. Again, a cushion. Again, pushing it down as it's sliding up, and just, again, so many things they have to do, but it seems like the more challenging it is, the more they love it. And it is unbelievable to see Michael Savicki now coming up the front stretch as Baylor still underneath the canopy trying to hit the 5 targets. As Savicki now is finishing up his first lap, and he starts the second. Last of the 800 meters, and Baylor again still underneath the tent, trying to hit the 5 shots. As Savicki now in the turn. Oh, and there comes Jerry Baylor as Savicki again. Looks like he might be trying to conserve some energy for a late race sprint to the finish. Yep, that is number 31. So I was right. He was paired up with him. That is Jerry Baylor again. Everybody's got their own style, like Jerry's style. Put the number in front. So all you guys want to put it in back? I want to put it up front. Everybody sees me as I'm coming up the front stretch. But Savicki, again, going down the back stretch. And again, it took Savicki a little bit, so he's got a little bit of time. But again, you can't waste too much time in the 5 shots. We saw that with the ladies. I mean, what a heck of a race between Jatiah Taylor and Corey Peterson. They did a phenomenal job. Peterson Taylor able to stay close, get into the canopy about the same time as we see Savicki as he's approaching, and now he's in underneath the canopy as Baylor now crossing the start-finish line, and he will be starting his last lap. And so Savicki has the rifle up. Yeah, Savicki has the rifle up, and again, he's got to hit the 5 targets as Hall into the first turn. Man, again, after 1 lap, you just got to be so spent. And they train for this a lot, like you said. I mean, I've mentioned their clubs, so they're part of these athletic teams or clubs, teams, and they, again, they can participate all year long, which is important. When you come to these games, it's once a year. It's tough just to can't just train last minute, as we see Hall making his way around. And look at that, Savicki hit the 5 targets. And now, well, he's got a little bit of space. We'll see what he can do. But, again, a little bit quicker that time in getting out of the 10 as you see him coming out of the turn and now heading up the home stretch, front stretch. And, but, again, Jerry Baylor still going. And his arms, again, his shoulders and arms just got to be burning. And here comes Savicki. Just look at that, just the grip and constantly just going and going and going. And both of these guys are quads, so like quad rugby, they don't really have use of their core. Oh, and I love his shirt. I just realized, look at that skeleton on the back of the shirt of Savicki as he crosses the finish line. Like skeletal, and there goes, well, Jerry Baylor again down the back stretch. And he's coming into the turn again. He was very, very quick on the, didn't do too bad the first time through, firing the rifle. So As volunteers cheering them on. Again, the 37th Annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games are coming to you live from the Queen City, Cincinnati, Ohio. Been such a gracious host, and everyone from the PVA doing a great job. And I mean, locally, obviously, from the VA, I know they have to, learning last night, learning more things as we go along, cities have to bid for it, the local VA. And again, Cincinnati's been such a gracious host. The downtown area has just been absolutely awesome. All the events have been phenomenal just to watch these vets compete. And again, we were kidding around the other day, but the little bit of the trash talking that will go on between different branches of the military about the other branch is always pretty entertaining to sit there and listen to. As Baylor now underneath the canopy as he's lining up his shot. And again, he's got to hit the 5 targets, which as we see there. And look at that. He made easy time of that. Again, the second time around, they adapt very quickly. So Jerry Baylor crushes the 5 targets, and now he's getting back on the track, headed through the turn, trying to get going. And man, what a great job there by Jerry Baylor. And again, some are, if they're quads, if they're listed as quads, they really have no use of their core. So this is all upper body that they are going around with, and you see him using his outside hand and arm a little bit more to get the lean and turn into the turn as he comes up the front stretch now. And what a great job by Jerry Baylor. Man, so between Baylor, Savicki, Hudson, and Cunningham, shooting-wise, they are just spot on. As you see, again, Baylor from the Keystone PVA. His final 20 meters. And there it is. Jerry Baylor crosses the finish line. Great job there by Baylor. Man, again, this would be tough if it was just 400 meters or 200 meters. But 800 meters, 2 laps around the track, stopping twice to hit 5 targets. Well, it looks like we have number 95 up. And that is Rory Cooper. Although they switch because Cooper's in lane 2. And then we have, oh, he wasn't paired up with Cooper. We have number 79. And let's see if I can go through and find 79 from an earlier event, possibly. Oh, yep, there it is. It is Christopher Fiddler. Christopher Fiddler. So Christopher Fiddler is in lane 1. Christopher Fiddler in lane 1. So Rory Cooper, oh, wow, look at Rory Cooper. He is charging. Went through the first turn, no problem, down the backstretch. And Cooper, again, taking a few turns at the wheel and then guiding his chair. But here comes Fiddler now, building up momentum. Christopher Fiddler is from the Keystone PVA. They're actually both from the Keystone PVA. For Cooper, and now Cooper, well, he's already been firing at some targets as he gets under the canopy. Fiddler, again, making a nice run. We'll see how they are on the skill with the rifle as they both get under the canopy. Again, Cooper got there first. And look at that. Cooper hits all 5. Man, what great time there by Rory Cooper. Gets back on the track, gets his chair going in the right direction. You can see sometimes they move a little bit too hard. That front wheel comes up. Again, they definitely don't want to do that as Cooper now comes through the turn. And now he's headed up the front stretch as Fiddler still underneath the canopy, trying to hit his shots. But look at Cooper representing the Army, as you see it there on his shirt. And he crosses the start-finish line, and look at this. Fiddler gets out. So about a 150-meter lead for Cooper. We'll see if Fiddler can get some momentum going and make that up. But again, Cooper taking about 7 or 8 big rotations and then trying to just guide the chair and taking 7 or 8 more as Chris Fiddler now coming up the front stretch. We see him right there as Cooper has hit the back stretch now as he's into it. As Fiddler can see him again, both pretty quick on the gun. May have taken Cooper a teeny bit longer. Again, he's created some space, but look at working hard is Chris Fiddler as now he enters the start of his last lap. And he's there, and now for Cooper, well, he gets to the canopy. He's getting set up as he comes in. Entering the backstretch now is Fiddler, as Cooper still underneath the canopy, but looks like he's moving down the line of hitting the targets. And you can just see the rifle adjusting just a little bit to each of the circular targets that is on the white box in front of him. But again, with the laser, I mean, it's going to be pretty sensitive too, I'm guessing. So, but here comes Fiddler now again, coming down the backstretch. And we'll see if Cooper can get out of the canopy. And it looks like, yep, Cooper hit all 5 as Fiddler enters the back stretch. And Rory Cooper is getting his chair turned in the right direction, and now he will start as Fiddler comes in. But again, Fiddler very quick on the rifle. His first time in is like just coasting in pretty quickly. But here comes Cooper down the front stretch. See the volunteers cheering him on, and look at this. Rory Cooper. Again, just going to keep going, make sure the chair stays straight as he's flying right in front of us, adjusting it just a little bit. Again, just keeping the lean going. You see the custom seats of the chairs, but they are down low. And like I said, I mean, it's and from what Sean Castle was telling me, if you get too far back, if you lean too far back too quick, those things could definitely tip back. And look at that. Out of the tent is Chris Fiddler again, wasting no time hitting the targets, Again, just a little bit of a deficit, but what a great job of shooting by these men and women too. So far, we've had the 2 women. And that will bring Fiddler to the front stretches. And just trying to keep going, but again, 800 meters, all upper body. That is just absolutely phenomenal to accomplish this. And again, still have not have the muscle fatigue to get in and out of the canopy shooting the rifles as Chris Fiddler goes past the finish line. Great job there by Fiddler. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. When you start to get fatigued, harder to concentrate, you would think the second time around the shooting would go slower, but with these men and women, oh, no. Man, Dave, how long do you think it would take us to finish that? About half an hour? Well, the 800 meters wouldn't be bad. It's just hitting the target might take it. Well, the 800 meters would be tough. Again, when you're just doing it all upper body, it is such a different thing. And one of the things I've taken from these athletes is just you see a lot of their strength. You see a lot of what they're doing. And that's why I said you need to tune in at 6 o'clock tonight for the weightlifting. That's coming. I want to say, is it 6 or 6:30? 6 or 6:30? It is 6:30. Or no, yeah, 6:30, weightlifting. Has there's a Tasmanian Devil here in the press box. Excited in. Our next 2 competitors are up to the line. And it is like number 128, and that is 128 is Thomas Strang, and in the lane next to him, well, again, deepest apologies as his number has flapped down, and they are getting set, but it is Thomas Strang. You see there in lane 1, and in lane 2. Efforting to see who that might be. But that is Thomas Strang of the Keystone PVA. Many Keystone State being Pennsylvania, so obviously being here in Ohio, not too far as they get started. Again, you see Strang there, and as they're both going through the first turn, again, efforting to see who in the awesome orange shirt jersey is in first place. But and hopefully we'll be able to tell by the end of the race who that may be. But as they're both headed down the back stretch towards the canopy, we shall see how they do. All right, and well, he gets to that first. We are efforting again to find out who that is. He's underneath the canopy, as actually Oh, a little bit for Thomas Strang. Strang, now he gets into the spot, but his competitor, again, my apologies. His number with the wind, the sun came out, the rain went away. Nice little breeze, teeny bit humid, but it feels absolutely beautiful here and gorgeous in the Queen City. Again, wheelchairgames.org. You'll see some weightlifting tonight. But if you're out and about, if you're in the area and you're listening, man, come on out to the convention center. Check this out. It is free, completely free, F-R-E-E. Everybody loves free. So that being said, both men now are shooting. We'll see if Strang can maybe get out of there first, get going. But nope. His competitor is out first. And again, I will, before the end of the race, efforting, find out who that is. Because, once again, his athlete number, like you see, watch the Olympics, any kind of Olympics, whether it's winter, summer, the numbers across their uniforms, and theirs are on the back of the chair, which definitely makes sense. Unless you're Jerry Baylor. I like Jerry putting it up front. He had number 31. All right, and so actually, 237 is Mr. William D. Fry from the Buckeye PVA. And, well, Mr. Fry is again, Fry, Buckeye PVA, he has the lead. And, oh, wow, still under the canopy shooting. And now he gets out. There he goes. There goes Thomas Strang. But Fry, again, entering the backstretch. And he's got a good pace going. Now Strang, well, there he goes. Strang getting going. So Thomas Strang, again, from the Keystone PVA. There's a little bit of distance to make up. But again, a little bit long shooting there, but man, for Bill Fry, as we see him entering the turn on the back stretch. And Strang coming up the front stretch now. But Fry now, I told you I'd find out thanks to wonderful assistant Mike Danik, because I couldn't see the number. And again, definitely feel bad calling somebody by a number or a jersey color. It's tough to do, but we make do, and we found out. So Mike Danik hooked that up. As we see Mr. Strang crossing the finish line, and now Fry in the canopy, as now Strang starts his second lap. As we see Fry trying to take out the 5 targets. It seemingly took him a teeny bit last time, but it looks like he's getting a little bit faster as he's adjusting to each target. See the volunteers there. Again, there's 5 targets on that white box you see under the canopy, and you have to light them up. So the laser's going to be pretty sensitive. And now finishing up the first turn, entering the back stretch is Thomas Strang. He's making a little bit of distance up as we see Fry underneath. Just try. Oh, and there Fry hits the 5th target, but Strang is in the back stretch. And Bill Fry is going to come on out. And now he's got to get the chair pointed in the right direction in the turn. He does that with ease. And now, again, got to get that momentum going. And Strang 3/4 of the way down the back stretch. Again, he was very quick on the rifle last time. So we'll see if he can hit the 5 pretty quick this time. But here comes Fry up the front stretch. Again, just leaning forward and trying to keep it straight. Again, you can see, again, the extension to the chair and that kind of the V-bars right there. As you saw him right there adjust it. And William Fry, as Strang is under the tent, under the canopy. But you'll see Fry right here cross the finish line and take the heat. What a solid 800 meters there by Fry. And Strang now underneath the canopy, trying to hit the 5 targets. As he got through pretty, wasn't too bad last time, got through pretty quick. And as you see him there aiming, and again with the lasers, all 5 will light up once, all 5 targets will light up once you hit it. As, oh, looks like he's moving down the line there as he shifted just a teeny bit. And he got it. Got the 5th target right there, did Strang. And not too bad a time right there. Strang now have, well, just 150 meters left. And here comes Strang now going into the turn. And again, like you said, I love that color. I know David Heil likes that color too. The green on Thomas Strang's chair there. Now you see Strang coming around, and again you see those V-shaped bars to keep the chair straight. Again, no need to go all over the track. They're doing enough work as it is. Don't need to cause any more work. And Thomas Strang again finishing strong as he has about 50 meters left to go. Again, just pushing hard through the finish. And encouraging him on as he gets through the finish line and ends his 800 meters. Again, we definitely want to thank GE and Xerox for bringing us track today. GE, a proud sponsor of the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, the 37th edition, as we're seeing here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And again, not just donating money, but donating time, always doing enough for any form of Olympians, and obviously the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, and of course Xerox, like I said as well, big in the Olympics, all the Olympics, but to come out here and be part of the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. I've been lobbying and trying to make some people listen to me for a few years now to get me out here, and it finally paid off because he's good enough, he's smart enough, and people just like David Heil because David Heil is a good man. But we're here with David Heil, and you'll see some other highlights later on. The drone. We have taking highlights with the drone. They've done a great job of that. all races. And now we have the final pairing, which I saw was 116. So, pardon, sorry about that. Give me 1 second. 116 is David Gifford Jr. So that's 116. And then the other, I'll have to, contestant. But 116 is David Gifford Jr. He's from the Keystone PVA. And they are pretty even race there, both into the canopy. So now we're going to see who can get through this first. Again, 5 targets to hit. This race is even so far. And again, you push for 150 meters around the track, and then you got to, again, focus, line it up, and oh, and look at that. Well, he is out. And look at this. He is just building up momentum, keeping the chair straight. What a great job. Look at that momentum. And that is 463. So that is Jerry Paget the second. Look at that, they're both out. Great job there by David Gifford. So Jerry Paget the second. Oh, wow. He's already down under the canopy. Is David Gifford. And Jerry Paget the second from Team Tampa WWP. But Gifford underneath, as now Paget is into that turn. Wow, look at that. Gifford gets out, just crushes the 5 targets. Oh, I'm sorry. So as he's coming up the front stretch, oh, look at him straighten that out. Look at him just keep going. And he's just rolling through it. Man, hit the 5 targets, had a little bit of a lead, and that was more than enough for Mr. Jerry Padgett II. He will take it as Gifford is still under the canopy, but he is done. He hit all 5 shots. Again, not taking too much time there either, but Jerry Padgett II just had enough of a lead. Got in there, and again, look at the gun expertise there, the rifle expertise, I should say. Definitely huge, as now here comes David Gifford. And as he navigates through that turn, again, now you see that just pushing with one arm, angling, again, like you say, the V-shaped handlebars to keep that wheel straight, and now he's coming up the front stretch. Just going forward, and again, building up more momentum. Oh, straightens it out there, about 50 meters left to go as he is going to the finish line. And David Gifford crosses the finish line. What a solid job there by Gifford. And, wow, well, now we have 2 more competitors who were not listed in the triathlon, but looks like we have number 4. Let's see who we have. As they're getting their instructions. Looks like we have number 428. As that. And number 59. So 428 and 59. Oh, 420, pardon me, 420. 420 and 59. So 420, let's see who that gentleman is. That is Cedric R. Getter. And 59 is as I effort that as they're into the first turn. '59 is John M. Kellner. And Kellner is from the Keystone PVA. And Cedric R. Getter is from the Southeastern PVA. And look at that, both into the backstretch. Well, this is going to be very close as Getter on the outside there. You see Kellner on the inside. But look at that. You see Getter again getting a little bit of a breather as they're both kind of good pace to this first lap as now they turn into the canopy. So we'll see which one of these men will be the quickest sharpshooter. Well, both still under the canopy, taking aim at the 5 targets. And they're both taking aim and trying to size up the target. Again, like I said, it is laser, so going to be pretty sensitive as they have to take those targets. Oh, and looks like Kellner is out first. As John Kellner gets out of the canopy and now gets his momentum going as he's in the turn. So again, you can see doing this for long enough, you can see the definition in the arms and the shoulders. That's Kellner now, and Cedric Getter just a little bit behind him as now he enters the home stretch too. 25-30 meter difference. It's John Kellner again, just trying to exude energy, save some energy as Getter trying to run him down, and now it's about a 10-meter difference as Kellner crosses the finish line. Then Cedric Getter right behind him. And again, just staying on his outside. Man, this is going to be one heck of a finish, as we'll see what Kellner has to offer. Again, just going in the turn, as you can see, as he's not really using the handlebars, as rotating with pushing more on his outside wheel and leaning in, and now he's using both hands as Cedric Getter right behind him though. Again, you see Getter trying to keep him close. These two guys, again, now it's going to come down to the rifle as they both enter the back stretch, as Kellner just a little bit ahead of Getter. Again, check out wheelchairgames.org. Anything you may have missed that we've streamed, it will be up there. And if you didn't get a chance to check out softball yesterday, got to sit with David DeGasperis. Again, they sponsor softball, sponsors of the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, but softball is their sport that they sponsor. And again, David telling us his dad has been a part of this. The family's been a part of this since 1988, and again, softball's so great. Like you said, they became family, starting to know a lot of the guys, multiple guys. Said whether it's their 15th, 20th, 25th. One of the most I talked to is his 26th games. The veteran that I had talked to, and now it slips my mind because I had it written down, but not right in front of me. But still, I mean, it's just a great number as we see. Well, there's Getter as he goes into the canopy. Just ahead of him, though, is John Kellner. So, again, it's going to come down to, as you see, look, both of them approaching, nesting underneath the table there, and now they have the 5 targets to hit on the laser again. Of course, knowing these two, it'll probably come, great, as you see right there, lining up the shot. And trying to hit the 5 targets. So, of course, I'm sure they'll both probably hit the 5th one at exactly the same time. And look at that. Well, what did I say? I finally got something right during this. Oh, and it looks like Kellner getting a little bit stuck as Getter, again, is get forward. Kellner getting a little bit stuck trying to get out. Now he's able to get out, but can he chase Cedric Getter down as Getter again coming to the home stretch? And backing out there is Kellner. Well, here comes Kellner. But look at this pace by Cedric Getter. Again, just keeping the arms going constantly. Man, what a great job here as Kellner now finishing up the turn and entering the front stretch. And Cedric Getter in a little shimmy there. Staying in lane 1. Just look at that momentum going forward as he will cross the finish line. Well, just a little bit ahead of John Kellner. And Kellner again now using his left arm and now going to both. And they both finished shooting just about the same time. Unfortunately for Kellner, the front part of his chair just was nested and just got stuck. But here comes Kellner as he's going all the way across the finish line to wrap up the biathlon. What a great job, man. What a tough event to end on. 800 meters around the track. And I'm guessing any of these competitors are in weightlifting tonight, that would be just absolutely insane, which is about 5.5 hours from now. And there you heard it. The rest of the shots fired off from the starter, and wow, that's done. That's pretty crazy. Well, before we get out of here, definitely want to thank our awesome crew, all the awesome volunteers down there, whoever they're with, UPS, PVA, all the volunteers that have come out, set this up, do such a phenomenal job. So we definitely want to thank them and thank Willard R. Stargell Stadium for hosting the track event. And, of course, the track wouldn't be made possible without our partners at General Electric, GE, who sponsored this track event. Again, so grateful that GE is a part of this sponsoring track, part of the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, and usually just in generally sponsoring a lot of stuff like this, like involvement with the Olympics. But we're proud that they're part of the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, along with Xerox, another proud partner on sponsoring track. So Xerox and GE doing a great job. Xerox, again, also, I know on the national level has very supportive of Team USA in all Olympics, and it's just even more amazing to see them a part of the National Veterans Wheelchair Games. So for Sean Moore, Mike Danik, David Heil, I'm Michael Caratanudo. We're going to wrap it up here, but again, 6:30, we will have weightlifting on. You can check it out on the stream, wheelchairgames.org. Yes, it is, wheelchairgames.org. So that'll get us out of here from Willard R. Stargell Stadium here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And again, the 37th Annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games, co-sponsored by the Paralyzed Veterans of America and the Department of Veterans Affairs. We will catch you later here from Cincinnati, Ohio.